Hi, everybody. I haven't seen you in a while, but today we're going to do something different on Phil Monique's World. So I'm going to let my person today introduce themselves.
Well, she actually, looks at me as the person, but I am the person behind the camera most of the time when this beautiful young lady is usually, on the podcast, giving you guys so much game and so much value. So my name is Percy, and I am the creative director of L3 Media. So I'm excited to be here.
So we doing something different today.
Yeah.
So he's going to interview me. And so we're going to go back. Before Revamp People, we're going to go back into my career and everything that I've done before Revamp People in the car accident, kind of give you a little dose of me and like where I come from and all that good stuff. I feel like a lot of people kind of know Revamp People, the car accident and stuff like that. So I wanted to open it up and go back a little bit. So yeah, that's what today's about.
Yeah, I'm super ready for this.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Because as much as I see you, I don't get a chance to really get to know the real you. I mean, I do see you on Instagram, which you're killing it, by the way.
Thank you.
But I also get to see you and how you interact with your guests and like, Revamp and like everyone that comes in here. And I'm just like, man, she a whole vibe.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And this was his idea because me, him, and Cam was talking and you was like, you need to tell this side of your story. So I feel like it was you guys' idea. So I wanted to say that to give.
Appreciate it.
We got to give flowers.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So. Let them rose petals fall, you know what I mean?
So we're going to do it. That's why I asked him to be here with me today. So, yeah.
Well, I'm excited. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
So, I'm going to start off like just slow, you know what I mean?
Just surprise me.
You know what I mean? So, I'm like I said in the beginning, like I've seen you do so many things. I'm interested to find out who the real Monique is. Like you said, you had the car accident. You had everything that you're doing and what people are seeing on social media. I want to know about you, the person.
So you want me to just say?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a lot of things. But I feel like the first thing that I come to mind for me as a person is a person of love, a person that cares about people, want to see people win, love art, love her family, soon to be husband, will love him. Just moving love is my thing. And I feel like I've always been that person since a child. So I feel like that to me, and that kind of described me at its best. So,
no,
yeah.
I definitely feel it. Now, Phil Monique, how did you come up with the concept of Phil Monique?
So I actually didn't nickname myself that. My first guest, Rocky Rivera, which is Chris, she named me that. So when we first met each other at Big Rich video shoot, she gave me that name. And we became friends actually instantly. We like literally was super young. I think I was like maybe 20, 21, maybe. She maybe was like 23 and we was hanging out, and she was the editor for Ruckus magazine at the time, and she was doing an article on Big Rig's video, and I ran into her like I was walking. I think I had my brother jeans or something, and I ran into her, and then she was like, jump in. Like we'd drive up to the Visadero, and so we did that, and then we hit it off, and then she was like, I'm gonna nickname you Phil Monique. So I've been having and people love the nickname, so I just decided to name the podcast it. So
no, the design, everything, the whole concept of it is dope. Like if you had a T-shirt ready for me, I'd rock that every day.
Thank you.
The
and I did it myself.
Yeah.
It was I did this one and Fits and Facts, but I wanted to keep it simple. So I know that I always say that I'm in my own world, which is I am, and I say I mind my business, be in my own world. So I wanted to just name it Phil Monique's World just so you can get a dose of me. And this is like my diary. So yeah, and so I named it that.
Now, going off of that, are you going to have merch available like as this progresses?
He always trying to get me to market stuff, which I love. I'm thinking about it.
I'm trying to get some money in your pocket.
And you gonna be the first. He do. He always trying to get. You will be the first person that I show my designs to.
And I hope I'll be the first person to wear it because I will rock it proudly.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? So, I'm interested, like, just how you are as a person. Like knowing her off camera, she has such a sweet soul. So I want to find out like what your upbringing was about, like how you grew up, and what were your inspirations like when growing up, being who you are today, or did you have those same inspirations?
I feel like I'm a little different now because I got in a car accident, but I feel like that core of me is still there. But I grew up in Fillmore, San Francisco, Fillmore. My mom and my grandma raised me. My mom, mainly my mom, but my grandma was basically my other parent. And I grew up in church with my grandma. Like, I of course had my mom, that world of going home and all that good stuff. And then I grew up in a world of church. So from a little kid, maybe a baby, all the way maybe to like 18. So I always had this good girl, conservative, polished thing about me. And then I always had the other side where I could get hood and, get with it if I have to. And I am not a fighter, but I will, so I have a more of a sweet side than me than that other side, because that's not really who I am. But, where you grow up in that environment, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So that's more of that side. I'm more of a person that's an artist, a person that loves art. I've been in art since a little girl, and it was something I've always loved. And so for me, I decided to go into different types of art and figure out who am I as an artist. And I enjoyed that because I got to like dibble and dabble in all type of art. When I got to high school, I feel like I found my art, and it was fashion. And I knew I loved fashion younger, but I just didn't know because I was still loving like all type of stuff, media and all that stuff. So when I got in high school, I discovered theater and I got into theater, and it just like kind of developed me as a designer. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to fashion school. And then that happened. But I've always been the weird one, the weird, quirky, like type of girl. I always was, I kept my head down and I did programs and I stayed out the way. I didn't, I wasn't a product of my environment. I made sure of it because I lived in a bad area. And I think a lot of times people feel like San Francisco gets down. Okay. It's not, it was, when I was growing up, it wasn't safe. My area wasn't safe. And we had so much going on. I remember the Coast Guard and they we had a curfew at a time. So I had to like experience all that type of stuff. But I always stayed true to myself and knew that I wanted to be an artist. And I had this vision always. Like this is who I am today has always been, me in my career. So, I feel like I have the church side, which is that polished, very traditional side of me. And then I have the hood side. I don't really embark on the hood side, but I will. And then the artists take over everything. Like it's who I am. I'm very open with different things, with visions and who people are. I'm very just very open to things because I'm an artist. So, yeah.
So going off of that, because you said a couple of things, I'm going to ask you probably a 2-part question.
Okay.
Now, do you think that you developing the love for, well, first of all, I'll ask this one first and then we'll go into the other one. Now, knowing that there are so many different parts of art, you have painting, you have photography, you have whatever, like was fashion to something like something that just held, like, you held on to, you know what I mean? You had a grasp for it as far as like you seen it, you were like, I want to do that right there.
Not necessarily in the beginning. Like I've always liked fashion, like from a kid, and I also believe because it came from my grandma and how she dressed for church, because that's when I had to get sharp. You know,
Sunday's
I had
best.
Sunday's best. Well, it was Saturday's best.
There we go.
Because I grew up a 7-day Adventist. So I went to church on Saturday and we got dressed. My grandma did not play that. We had stock, like literally, like you got to cover up. So it was and that religion is very conservative. Very conservative. You can't have tattoos. You couldn't wear earrings. It was very like that. So that started, but my grandma always looked good. Even when she had to wear, like for first Saturday, she had to wear her white. When I say she used to dress to the gloves, and her gloves was always different. She changed them, but and when I remember when she passed away, I have her gloves. I swear she had like 50, 60 gloves, white gloves that she wore for her first Saturday. So I just sing that always. I sing fashion and from my grandma, and in church, and seeing church women and gentlemen in church. So you see it all the time. And then my mom was a polished woman. She believed like you always make sure you look good when you go outside. Her hair was always done. She always had her nails done. So I was around it. So it was always in me. That's the thing. And then they both sold. So my grandma sold and my mom. So it's something that's, you know, it's in my genes, you know. But I loved art and I loved drawing and painting and all that stuff. Like I like to get into that type of stuff. And then it just kind of developed. Because that's why I said it's my genes. Like I literally was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And it kind of started in elementary for my elementary graduation. Me getting finger waves and wore a 3-piece suit with a suede. It was suede with, it had a big old like kind of 70s like coat, suede, whatever. I literally turned that graduation. People was looking at me like, what, this little girl? But I wanted to get dressed. This was who I was, like young. So that started it, but then I still wanted to keep going into different. So I did do photography. I did do sculpture. I did everything, painting, everything, the watercolors, everything you could think of. And I loved it. I was infatuated with it. My mom put me in all type of programs. So that's what that development of being an artist was, because I got to see what it was. I got to experience it. Then when I got to middle school, I knew, because you start caring about your clothes. And then high school was it. I was like, this is my career. This is what I'm doing. And so then that's all my focus was. And I was actually in fashion and media. So I did film, I did commercials, I worked for KQED. And I learned how to do websites and all that stuff. So I started developing that side of me. And then I ended up in theater, and I ended up working at Brava, a theater for women. Learned everything you can, ins and out of theater, from the house manager, backstage, lighting, catwalk, all this stuff. Like we learned everything. And I loved it. And I remember when I was talking to my mentor, I think her name was Julia. And I was telling her, I was like, I really want to learn costume design. It's so interesting. I want to learn it. And so I went into costume design, and it just took off. And I'm like, I'm going to art school. This is what I'm doing. So I always was a geek for art. Like art was always my thing from a little kid. And I remember all the stories my mom used to tell me. She was like, you knew what you wanted from little. Like from a little child, you knew like you was an artist, and you used to paint and draw and gravitate to colors a little. So art is my thing. I've always been an artist. So.
And that's crazy, because my sister was the artsy one, like into photography and everything. And I was the one, the jock, making fun of her. And now I'm more of like the artsy, really artsy or whatever. But you said something that really sparked on my antennas, right? And I think it's something that a lot of creatives should know, or should add this to their path, is knowing every aspect of what it is that you do. Because you said you did media, fashion, painting, photography. So to me, the way I look at it is like when you're a boss and you're like over people, you know what I mean? You want to know everyone's job. It's your job to know everyone's job and how it's done correctly. You don't want to blindly go in and be like, oh, okay, go ahead, photographer, take these shots, and you don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Right? So can you like explain kind of a little bit, like,
this is a good question.
Not really like going full in on it, but at least knowing what it is.
I believe that it is good for you to know, because then you can really complete your visions. Like, you can put the cherry on top. For me, I knew that all that was a part of art, and that's why I went into them. I just got to really, I was so proud of myself, because I did a lot of stuff that a lot of people didn't do. I was telling Chris this when she was on a podcast. I knocked on doors and wasn't embarrassed. So that's what that spider was, that fear of not, you know what I'm saying, of going into people's faces, doing stuff unapologetically. And that's how I got into all those rooms and got to experience all the different art. And when you do that, it creates your brand. And so even now, like when I come on set and stuff, I know what's going on, because I will say, like, the cameras and stuff, I don't remember like I used to, but I understand it enough. So building this podcast, building the other podcast, I knew how to go into it because I have all this background and stuff. And mind you, that's why it ended up becoming this, because I always did it. This is my world. This is something I've always been into. Even though like a lot of stuff I did, I was behind the scenes, but I knew eventually I would, like, I always dreamed to be like Oprah, but I wanted to do it in a positive way,
right.
And tell them. So I just so happened to have a story from my car accident, and I had to become this resilient person, and now I'm just pushing it out into the world, and I want to just give this gift of don't give up, keep going. It's not the end of the road when you go through things. Just be in that season and stay grateful. So that's, it's like the best thing you do. Know what you're doing, go into everything, ask questions, always be the student. And yeah, so that's why I did that.
Well, I say that because, like, when I first met you, like, I was blown away. You know what I mean? I was blown away because, like, you came in with intention. You knew exactly what you wanted. You have, this woman has so much stuff going on. I don't know how to keep up with it. But, like, you came in with intention. And what impressed me was, like, you knew, like, how you wanted the camera to look. You know, and like you said, you don't know all the aspects of it, but you know enough to be like, I want it to look this way. You know what I mean? So that's important, especially like if you're developing a brand for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the steps a lot of people miss when they're trying to build brands, is like not knowing every aspect of it. They'll just throw money at it and be like, okay, well, I want it to, just just make it look good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then you be mad at the end because the frames is weird. So
believe me, I've been.
So I'm very much so into making sure everything is good. But even taking pictures, like, I know when a picture is not shot right. Like, because I did photography. I did photography at a really, really young age. Me and my best friend, when we went to the YMCA, and we learned how to develop, take pictures on like an old school camera. But that developed an eye, and from the camera. So I know what shots, angles. That's how I know how to even model on a camera because of it. Because we always took pictures. We used to be outside. We used to learn angles and lighting, and okay, if you turn this way from the sun and all that stuff. So, and we was super young. I think we was in elementary.
Wow.
So, I've been in this world for a very long time. It's not, I think, because I have had people say, oh, you after the accident, this is what you came up with. No, that's not what I came up with. This is something that always been in me. And when I got in a car accident, it redirected me back to where I was supposed to be. Your purpose is why you're here on this earth. So God put me right back into my purpose and say, this is what I wanted you to do. The other stuff I give you, but you need to be in your purpose. So I believe the car accident kind of realigned me into where I was supposed to be. So I wanted to talk about this, to kind of let people know this has been my career. So
No, I think meeting you, like coming here, I get a chance to meet like just interesting, cool ass people.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, man, because like when I started my content creation, I was like, man, there ain't no one out here creating content, ain't no one doing this. Now I'm seeing people come in that are brilliant and they're like really making moves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm all about iron sharpens iron. So
I agree.
Let's get into, so I was gonna go back to my original question as far as like your upbringing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if you didn't have fashion, you didn't have like this, like where do you think you would have been? Do you think you would have been, sucked into the streets, or do you think something else? Because I mean, you did have a strong grandma. I'm pretty sure she's Southern from the South.
Yeah, Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas. Yeah. Nah, I always would have been. I would have been in some type of art. But I think I would have ended up in fashion some way, shape, or form because I loved it so much young. But I was such a nerd. Like I literally in high school hung, and I love my friends. Shout out to all my friends from high school, and I'm still cool with a lot of them. I literally hung with the high achievers, the track star, the one that wants to be the social worker or the therapist. Like those are my friends. Like I literally hung with the crew that had a mindset of their future, and that's what I wanted to be around. And I was struggling because I had a hearing problem and I had a disability in high school. And they took me in. They didn't judge me because I was in different special day classes and stuff like that. And they was but I was so smart. Like I did my own thing, but I figured things out. I fought for myself with a lot of stuff. Like I'm not learning. Like I need y'all to help me. Like I literally I've always been a boss. Like I've always been a person, even though it's been difficult for me in a lot of aspects, but I always spoke up and went after what I wanted. And so being around the friends that I had, I knew that they will, like you said, sharpen my iron. So I was around them to become the better version of myself. And even now, like I literally will leave a friend alone if they're not, and it's, I would say, more on the negative side. Growth, you can always grow. I would never judge nobody for, maybe growing a little slower or whatever. But when you're negative, or you competing, or you are doing stuff to compromise my growth, So even now, like I'm very specific on friends. So yeah, I've always been a nerd. I've always been a person on that journey. And I just got thrown off, messing with the wrong people, dating the wrong people and stuff like that. So
I think we've all gone through like, that path, being around the wrong people.
No.
I don't look at it as a loss. I look at it as a lesson.
Yeah.
These are things that shape us.
Mm-hmm.
It really like tells us, like, as we get older, we're like, we see the signs. Oh, well, let's back out a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I mean, I've been with the good crowd. I've been with the bad crowd.
Yeah. And it wasn't a bad crowd in that. It was more not growing.
Right.
For me, like, and you don't know because you're in it. You're attached, and I had to learn about attachments. That's how I learned about, like, you gotta let those things go. Also, making sure that you're not trying to be validated by people. And even now, like, the things that I do is because it's in my brain and it's just coming out. It's nothing because somebody else doing or whatever. It's just, these are things that I wrote in journals years ago. Like, all this stuff is just coming in fruition, But when I was dealing with certain people, they wasn't growing and stuff. So I became stagnant because I'm trying to get them to do this. You can't make nobody do anything they don't want to do. You also, that trying to validate or oh, I need to do what society says. I need to have a man, or I need to do that. So you start settling and doing little stuff like that. So I feel like that was my, setback, was trying to be validated. Oh, I'm not cool, or I'm not good enough because I don't have the man, I don't have kids, I don't have this. And I had to get out that mindset. If it's meant for me, it'll happen, and align myself with the right people, it will happen. And manifesting what I want, going after what I want. And I had to get in that mindset. That was probably the best lesson for me, especially the car accident was extremely the best lesson, because I had to do everything all over again. And it made me grow into a person. Like, I want to learn different. I want to be a student. I want to go after what I want. It made me a little fearless, more fearless than I used to be. Even though I've always kind of been this person. It's been the core of me, but
it just 10x'd it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you learn life is precious.
Oh, yeah.
I went through my near-death experience. And, like, as soon as I got out, like, everything looked different. Colors were more vivid. You know what I mean? Like, you would hear birds you never hear before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when people understand, like, how precious life is, you know what I mean? And how each day we take things for granted.
Oh, yeah.
We take our ear, our
hearing,
hearing, our sight, our ability to walk. Like, those are all gifts, but we don't look at it as gifts.
Yeah, well, I do.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
because I told Marco, actually, we're working on a content video that's coming out next week, but and I say this all the time, after my car accident, I literally tell people, use it before you lose it. Literally, your vision, your touch, your everything, use it. Don't ever feel like you can't touch new things. It feels, even with that spider, like, I thought it was gonna be super hairy, and touching a hairy spider, it wasn't. I could feel its feet walking, so that was a different feeling that I never thought that I would touch. Something new. Smells and all that different stuff is just important. Like, use it before you lose it. Like, as you get older, you start losing abilities. Even fitness is so important to me, because I want to be able to walk for a very long time, even though I have a lot of disabilities with my back and all this stuff, where anything can happen. My walking ability will be taken away from me. So I'm going to step hard, soft, whatever I could do to be able to use it. So yeah, I say it all the time. Use it before you lose it.
Use it, yeah, definitely. Use it before you lose it.
So
you're talking about all this training that you have gone through. I don't think you talked about the training, but I'm just saying, like, you have all this experience. Like, what courses, classes, trainings did you take to get you, from here to here? You know what I mean? To that next level.
So, as when I was younger, my mom put me in a lot of different programs. One of the programs I could remember, it was a lot of different stuff, but it was Hill Project. And Hill's Project was in Fillmore, and it was to shape the artists of kids. And so we did African dance, we did sculpture, we did music, we did drums, we did instruments, we did all type of stuff that focused on art. And it was, I don't know if you ever heard of the Hills Brothers Coffee.
It sounds very familiar.
So she was the wife of one of the brothers. And so she developed this program. So I happened to get in the program. My mom put me in. And I'm so happy that my mom, before she passed away, she told me these stories, because I forgot a lot of this stuff. And I'm happy that I sat with her and asked her heck of stuff about myself, because I was like, Mom, I don't remember a lot. And so she told me, and it was a lot of stuff I wrote down. It was a lot of stuff we just sat there and talked and stuff. But she told me about this program, and that was the start of, like, art for me. And it was music. Like, I even have an ear for music because of it. Learning about Beethoven and different, like, Mozart and all these different things. Learning African dance and, how to move and the drums and we also learned about the the island drums and stuff like that. We learned a lot, but it was all in art. And that I just knew, like, Mom, I'm an artist. Like, this is what I am. And she's like, I know. Like, you was a little kid and this is what you was. So that started. Then I was in programs. I was knocking on those doors. Anytime I can get to somebody that I knew a program was happening. So in San Francisco, I'm sure in Oakland. Not my phone ringing. Sorry, y'all. And it is nobody. Here, let me turn this off. And
it's all part of the program. Okay. That was supposed to happen. We timed that.
Yeah. Weird. So all the programs and everything I was looking up. So in San Francisco, I don't know if Oakland, because I remember we did do some stuff in Oakland and stuff too. But in San Francisco, then we had the funding. And the mayors, they made sure that art was a big thing. So I knew that they had programs for artists. So what I did was I always applied for them. So when I was in elementary to middle school to high school, art programs, everything you could think of. If it was something that related to art, or I knew something, it was something with media or film or something like that, I got into it. And I applied for everything. And that's why I said I knocked on doors, because it developed the person I am. Now, a lot of people don't even know I have a production background. You know what I'm saying? So movies, all that stuff, like commercials, set design, and it's set design on a commercial or an actual theater stage, because I went into all these different programs. So it developed. So then I end up, so I did a lot of programs. I did Girl Source, which was a book for teens. And it basically was talking about just the stuff that women go through and the issues, depression, all that stuff about your period. So we did the website off that book. So it had different girls go into this program for like 8 weeks, and then we developed stuff. So what we did was we were the second group, and so we developed the website. Basically, we took the book and put it into the website. That was really cool. So that was my first experience with web design and stuff like that. It's a lot of different programs I did. I did KQED. KQED was commercials, film, news, broadcasting, and all that stuff. And so we basically learned about all that good stuff, which was amazing. I loved it. I loved how we learned how to read off the teleprompter, and so we got to do a commercial with our heroes. And that was my mentor that taught me how to sew. And she taught me how to sew at 15 years old. And I was like so excited to do it, because she was just such a pivotal, just a big part of my life. Like, she was amazing. So I did that, and I interviewed her, and I did like my setup. That was really cool. I enjoyed that. And I'm still trying to find it. So if somebody find a KQED back in the day, I don't even remember the year. But I did do that. And I think I might have to visit KQED and just see, because I did a lot of stuff with KQED Young.
Is it still around?
Yeah. They have a new building and everything.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it's still in. So in San Francisco, they have a media area. So you know how they have financial district and stuff like that. They have a media area where they do like music and all this stuff, and it's like artists and stuff in that area. So that is still in that area. And so I used to be in that area that have like the theater area and all that stuff. So yeah, San Francisco pretty cool. A lot of people don't really know about San Francisco. Very artsy city.
No, so. I love San Francisco. Like, if you just go all around, you know, like around Haight Street and all that other stuff. Even they, like, in their buildings, like they have like on the buildings they have paintings and everything else and murals.
Yeah, the architect is cool too. The houses and all that. It's very unique. A very unique city.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, and then I ended up going to art school. I did not finish. But I did. I was there for maybe like 2.5 years, but I learned a lot. I learned a lot about sewing, more skills on sewing. My dad ended up committing suicide. So I just kind of went out of it and just kind of try to figure some things out. But I also feel like that kind of was my downhill from art. I kind of felt like I didn't fall out of love with it, but I just kind of real life hit, and then it just kind of took me out, and then I kept dating, and so it kind of took me out of art for a long time. But yeah, those was like all those things developed my artistry and me being an artist and a designer and all that stuff. So yeah, and I had a lot of mentors along the way.
I was just about that was gonna be my next question, your mentors. But before I get into that, you had mentioned something about like something traumatic happening to you, you know, losing your father. I've had several, losses in the family, and it kind of kicks you out of the things that you love to do. It strips you away of like you're finding yourself asking why did this happen? Why did this happen to me? And how you can navigate through this. And sometimes you venture away from the things that you love to do. You know what I mean? I mean, love to do, like eat, sleep, and breathe art. But, something happens and your mind goes somewhere else. I know mine went into food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like food was my drug. And I just pretty much almost ate myself to death. You know what I mean? And it's a real thing.
Yeah, it is. I love food today. And
you know what I mean? So
I'm trying to get it together now. So I know.
So how did you how did you kick yourself back into the mode of art after that traumatic incident?
I didn't. So, and this is why I want to share this, because I didn't. I feel like that took me on this like journey. And this is why I say like validation, trying to like please people and all that stuff is not something you should go into, because when you lose somebody, you lose a piece of yourself. That art that you develop, they a piece of that art. Like no matter what, because you're developing all these things from where you come from, what you seen, all this stuff. That develops your art in my head, in my opinion. So even though my dad was a computer geek, he was very much so on numbers, but it also, I knew numbers in fashion because of him. So, because when you do pattern making and all that stuff, it's numbers, and it's so crazy because pattern making was really hard for me, but when I got it, which is, I feel like that was a skill from my father, and my mom and my grandma. So a piece of them leaving this earth, or if, at the time my mom and my grandma was here, but it takes away from it. But my dad really messed me up because he took his life. So that really messed me up. But then I started losing people like every year after he died, like literally friends, family members, like every year. My whole 20s, I lost somebody. And I remember one year I maybe lost 10 people that I knew, I grew up with, I was cool with, and it was rough. Like, so that altered me a lot. And as I started shifting to get it together, because at the end of it, I'm like, I gotta get it together. I got in my car accident. Literally got in my car accident. Like that year I turned 30, things started looking up for me. I'm like, I'm doing this. I'm gonna create this. But that wasn't what I was supposed to do. I had this plan that I was gonna do all this stuff, and that was not the plan I was supposed to be on. But then when I got in a car accident and got to that side of everything, Revamp People happened. I just started picking up stuff. Like I was like, Mom, can I have? And I was like, I don't even know where this is coming from. But it's so crazy because I didn't remember a lot, but I remember fashion. Like I literally remember fashion. I remember how to sew. I remember how to pick that sewing machine. I remember how to like everything. And my mom was like, it's so crazy that you remember this, but it's a lot of stuff you just don't remember. And as I kept doing it, I'm like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to do it. So I really believe when you lose people, that piece of you go with like your art go, so you got to kind of figure out a way to get it back some shape or form. And it could be a new person in your life. It can have, people bring a type of art that you maybe need to be introduced to. research, education, so yeah, yeah.
See, that's what I wanted to get out of you. I felt something like once I heard like what happened, because I can relate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I've had things stripped away from me. And just like you said, like when you lose a parent, I've lost both my parents. You know what I mean? So when
Me
you lose, it like takes the life out of you.
Oh,
you're just
yeah.
Like, you're like
losing your parents.
Yeah, that's like one of the worst feelings ever, So I didn't want you to have to relive it, but I did want you.
No, it's okay. I'm
wanted to
okay
bring
with
that
talking
out.
about
Yeah,
it.
okay.
I have moments where I cry. I have moments where I'm okay. And I'm like, this is a part of my story. Like, I love my parents and my grandma. My grandma was my other parent. So I always say bonus parent. And I lost both of my parents and I lost my grandma, and I lost my mom and my grandma 5 months apart, so it was heartbreaking. And I couldn't really grieve my grandma because I was taking care of my mom because she was sick with cancer. So, losing your parents, and I tell people all the time, I said this recently to Marco on film, so it was maybe gonna be a film, but I say it again, the family you create is beautiful and it's amazing. You should always make sure you taking care of it, you're nurturing it, everything, but also nurture the family you come from, because that's a part of you. It's your DNA. That's something that made you the person you are today. Now, I wouldn't say the toxic people are people that's bringing you hardship or doing things to you, but I'm talking about the people that fills your cup, that's loving on you. Those people, keep them in your life and really care about them as you care about your family as you're building. It's the same thing. It's just if you look at it that way, it's the same thing. So you got to know where you come from to know where you're going.
Oh.
And I just believe that your family, the family you start, you got to be good with the family that you come from. And for me, like family, everything, I've just never really had a tight-knit family. And it sucks, and especially not having parents no more. I can't go to them because one thing about parents, it always feel like home. And when they're not here, you don't feel like you have that home no more. Even because I love my house, I love it, but it's still it's my home, but it still don't feel like home.
I know that.
Yeah,
I know how you
feel. I just tell people, your parents, if you got issues with them, talk it out, forgive. You don't have to deal with them if they're toxic. Just let out the stuff that you need to forgive them on, because they're not gonna be here forever.
Those are facts. Like, make it right.
You make it right, yeah. And it's for you. It's not for them. It's for you. And if anything do happen, that you talked it out, you forgave. And maybe the relationship would mend itself, but don't hold on to, especially with family. Some people, I get it though, but
no,
the people that you can't make up with, go ahead and make up with them. But the other people, I pray for them. Don't say that. Just pray.
So I do have a question that's outside the question here.
Okay.
That's gonna catch you by surprise. I asked everyone this question.
Okay.
It started off with asking myself this question, but being the woman that you are today, if you had a time machine and you can go back and speak to the little girl, Monique, your little self, what advice would you tell her?
Don't give up, keep going. Like, don't ever, when you go through hardships, when you go through things, always make sure, you always know that it's the light at the end of the tunnel. It's dark. I mean, can't have darkness without light. Like, like you're okay. And I will hug myself and I will nurture myself and let myself know that I'm safe and I'm okay with anything that I face. That you're gonna go through things and it's okay and it's a part of life, but you have to keep going. It's gonna seem like it's gonna take forever, but it's going to happen. You have to, even after my car accident where I was like super like, oh my God, like just in a rut, because it just seemed like it was everlasting. Like it was just either I was in pain and it just seemed like the pain. I remember one time when after my car accident, I was in pain for maybe like 50 hours for days. Like I was just like, this is I was like, this is not real. Like I literally told my mom I want to die. Like I literally was in pain. My back was hurting so bad. And my mom told me, she said, it's gonna pass. It shall pass. But that taught me, you know, once I started really like watching and seeing what was going on, I understood it is gonna pass. I have to be in a grateful mindset. And then I started living in my gratitude. But it took a while. It took the pain. It took, you know, me being very dark and suicidal and all these different things that came with it. But once I figured it out, I saw the light. And it was super far. And sometimes it's super far now. Like sometimes I'll be like, when is this light gonna come? You know? And it comes. And then maybe something else come up. So I say it's gonna be darkness, but light will come. And it just be patient. Seasons happen. You're not gonna be in a season forever. You know, winter come, you know, everybody be like, oh, I can't wait till winter over. You know, I like winter though. I grew to love winter because without winter and spring and all that stuff, you can't have flowers, you can't have growth. So winter is important. But, you know, I had to really understand that, you know, appreciating the seasons make you appreciate everything. So, yeah.
No, I mean, that's definitely what's up.
This is a good interview. Yeah, okay.
You know, I told you. You know, I
knew how to get Percy on here, though. I was like, you gonna interview me? We had him on Fits and Facts, so
yeah.
I had to bring him on mine.
I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, you are.
I be playing possum behind camera. I'll be like,
not that possum.
Yeah, but I definitely, you know, I learned all my stuff being in front of the camera. But,
yeah, it really helps you fight the fear.
I'm gonna tell you this because fear is the whole thing. Like when I first started, and this is for anybody that's doing any type of creation and they want to be the face of their business, right? People talk all this mess saying, "Oh, I'm bubbly, I'm friendly, I do this." As soon as like that camera turns on, it's like deer in the headlights. Like they're just like, But having this conversation with you, like. These cameras don't matter. Like they don't exist. It's just me and you having a conversation. I almost forget that the cam's even on. To be honest with you, because you notice I'm just sitting here just looking at you.
Yeah, you look comfortable.
Yeah,
too.
I'm just.
He
chilling.
look comfortable, y'all.
You know, it's my time to be comfortable. You know, sometimes you know Monique be working me too much.
But you get. I feel like you get so used to it, and you gotta go for it. You can't. That's why, like, worrying about what people gotta say, they gonna stay talking, let them talk. You relevant if they talking, you know? So let them talk, like, do things. Like, a lot of people don't understand me now. They don't get me. I'm sure a lot of people don't even like me. And that's fine. But they will. It'll be a time where I get to the other side, you know, see that light, and I'm where I'm supposed to be. And then they're like, oh, let me go over here. You know, so you have to not make sense for people. You gotta just not make sense, and then you will make sense. And you just gotta do it.
Well, it goes back to we live in a world full of sheep.
Yeah.
And I always say this quote: "In a world full of sheep, be a wolf." Yep. You know what I mean? Like what you're doing is you're not in this cookie cutter thing. Yeah. Especially, and I told this about this with your content. It's not cookie cutter. Like, oh, well, let me do this trendy dance. Like if you look on TikTok, my daughter had me going down this TikTok rabbit hole, and everyone's doing the same shit. Yeah. Everyone, like, I don't want to do that.
That's why I also too, like because when I did the boots on the ground, but I like boots on the ground. That's why I did boots on the ground. Right. It wasn't because it was trendy. I love that song. I'm maybe still loving it. I ain't played it out. It's my song. It was my song of this year. I love Boots on the Ground. So that's why I did it. It didn't have nothing to do with because it was trending. And I had told myself, like, I'm going to keep doing the non-trendy stuff because I've always made trends. And you know, I'm kind of pumping myself up in my ego right now, but I'm gonna say it. I've always been a person where people follow things because I've always been myself. And when you be yourself and you do what's on your path, people will pick up. It might take a bit, but they will be like, "Oh, I'm trying to do that." I've wore stuff, done stuff years ago, and people will be picking it up and doing it now, and it's like, "Oh, I did that already," where I just did it just because I cared. Nobody else was doing it, but I just did it because and then now it's a fashion trend. For example, when I was in art school, we had to make a blazer, and I told a couple people this story, but I was like, I could tell this story. So my teacher, her name was Miss Wong, I think, and that, when I said it like was mean, she was she was mean as hell, but she was one of the best seamstress tailor I knew. Even I love my mentor till today, but she was better than her because she was so fast, but she knew her stuff. So she taught me well. I was struggling back and forth in her class, and then I finally figured out, okay, I can do this. So I would stay hours. I remember I stayed like 24 hours. I did not sleep, nothing. I literally, when I got home and finished I passed out. But I did a tailor jacket, and it was a cutout in the back. It was a heart. It was a heart cutout. And I was like, I'm doing this. This is what I see this, whatever. And so she was like, what is this? Like, so we were up in front of class and presenting it. And she was like, what is this? Why is it a cutout in the back of your coat? I was like, that was because she was supposed to do a special design to it. I was like, that's the special design. And she was like, it fits well. Because it was on a mannequin like snatch. Like tailor wheel was no puckering that. I really made that jacket to the T. Mind you, I stayed up for hours doing that jacket. She was like, if you don't redo this jacket, I'm giving you a F. I was in there bawling like, oh my God, I was crying. I did get an A on my, because I had redid it, but I had basically did like sheer, like it was cutouts, but they were sheer, but I made it thick enough where you can kind of like see that it's tailored, and I did. Anyway, I didn't want to do that. It was cute though, but she ended up giving me an A on it because the turnaround, because she loved it. I did it fast because she gave me 3 days. But people do cutout jackets now. I just was shopping yesterday and I seen a jacket that was cut out in the back, and I'm like, I did. When I say I was in art school. 2004, people wasn't doing cutout stuff like that, like a blazer, like a tailor. When I mean well tailored jacket on you with a cutout in the back, nobody was doing that. So I literally did. I was ahead of my time, and yeah, I almost got an F though. But I went with that was my gut feeling, but it was crazy that I've always been a person just to stick with, and that's what something I wanted to do. And she asked me, like, "Do you sure you want to do it?" Because she seen the design, but she didn't know it was a cutout.
Right. No.
So she was asking me, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" And I was sure. So, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that lesson kind of shaped the way you do business now, as far as like your turnaround times. Like, I mean, it may have sucked at the beginning, having to go through that, but being put on the clock like that, because I'm pretty sure you have deadlines and everything to reach, and you can go back in your head and be like, oh, Mrs. Wong was her name, right?
Mrs. Wong, yeah.
Mrs. Wong probably in your ear be like, we got to get this deadline done,
she would. And also too, how she taught, it was very structured and very like to the book, but she also taught us like if we were working in a factory. Like we were actually in a factory making stuff, and you had to make samples. Like basically, so like back in the day, a lot of stuff has changed now, but they still do samples. So we basically made things like samples, but sample gotta look better than the original, because that sample, they take that sample and then they multiply it from that sample. What's the errors? So then, and they might make a couple more, but the sample is very important. So she taught us how to make stuff like a sample, so that was like a really big one for me, but it just let me know that I am a designer. I am somebody that, and I'm not the biggest, cause I'm more of a upcycle designer now. It's easier for me in my body. but I still know how to do everything. I still know how to figure things out and design and all that stuff. But it let me know at that particular moment I was a designer. That I created something that she did not understand. And people don't, what my point was, like, people don't have to understand. You just keep being on your path and make trends. I want to be able to do something on social media and then it's a trend. I'd rather do that than worry about everybody else and what they're doing.
Those are facts.
So that's just how I always been, and that's why I could be happy and celebrate somebody, because we're not doing the same thing. We're not the same. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in my path, and God is talking to me and he's telling me, okay, this is what you need to do. So I don't need to feel like to be on everybody else's wave. I'm on my own wave. I'm a tsunami.
There we go.
So
there we go.
Dang,
look at the time.
Yeah.
We've been flowing through this.
I know. Do you have any more questions?
Well, that was gonna be my last question.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for me?
I do.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay. I'm gonna ask 2 questions.
Okay.
And this is like the big thing that I do on my podcast. So we're like changing it and letting him do it. So, because I don't like make everything about me. But what is your biggest, what's the thing you love the most?
My daughter.
In your life? Okay.
My daughter. I mean, besides my daughter, well, besides my daughter, I love to create. When people ask me, like, are you a content creator? I tell them no. I let them know I'm a visionary.
I like that.
I feel being called a content creator, it's just been so diluted and watered down. The art of it has been taken away because of just how it's being displayed now.
Yeah.
I like to sit down with a client and really strategize like what their next moves are, like how we can tell this story, and not me just knowing it. I want them to know it. I want them to feel it. So like before we even press record, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that takes place. Now, this skill, I didn't learn this skill until like, a couple of years ago. But remember how we were talking about being in your purpose and not being ready? Back then I was always the one that's complained about, like, why can't I get clients? Why can't, why doesn't people see my greatness? I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready for those types of clients. Now, I've been through the darkness, through that dark tunnel. Like Andy in Shawshank Redemption. I don't know if you've seen the movie.
Yeah, I've seen the movie. I love movies though.
Yeah, but that's the most powerful scene. Like that's pretty much what we're all on this path for. Are you willing to go through 500 yards of sewage to get to your paradise?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that means like late nights. That means being disappointed, being let down. All these things that comes with all the great things. People post their wins, they never post their losses.
Yeah.
So that's why
I speak about mine.
So that's why I say I'm a visionary, and like doing this is what I love to do. Being around like minds like yours, to where like I'm constantly learning. Like even when we have our conversations, I'm learning.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
You.
Like we're not the final product right now. We're still learning.
Yeah.
So
work in progress.
There we go.
Always allow yourself to be that. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I definitely agree. I was gonna say something and I forgot.
It's all good.
Yeah.
I'm ready for
listening.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your favorite project you worked on?
So many. There's so many. There's so many. Actually, it's a recent project that I did for myself on Diabetes Kitchen, to where like, it was my 46th birthday coming up, and it was me reflecting back into like how I shot it was, I'm rewind it back. So I had my produce that I usually do is my usually green juice, and I didn't want to make another green juice video and be like, this is how you do it. I wanted to get more creative with it. So what I did was I took old footage that I had and I kind of did a rewind back of me reflecting back to like last year when I was heavier and why I made this purchase for this juicer. And like I was sitting there sweating, thinking about like, is this $700 juicer, you know, worth it? And like, and it comes back to me in my kitchen, you know, juicing the green juice. And I was like, that's why, you know, I've done many juices, but this is my go-to juice for, you know, blah, blah, blah. I mean, kind of, I'll send it to you. It's like how Kubin's juicer saved my life or whatever, because like I was heavy.
That was the one with the sour sop, right?
No. This one's with the it's made popular now, but I've been doing this before. The, you know, the Yaki dude that has the basically is the same ingredients, but I've been doing it for a long time. He just was able to, you know,
it happens.
And I ain't tripping off of that, but it really like pushed my creativity to the next level, because when I'm filming by myself. I'm the cameraman, I'm the editor, and I do all this stuff. I don't have anyone showing up and doing this. So like me getting the angles, me writing it out, me actually doing the voiceovers before I actually shoot, it really like said, if I can work with anyone, you know what I mean? Like I can, if you came to me and be like, Percy, I have an idea, I'm like, I'm ready for it. Let's go. I'm pencil and paper. Let's go.
Yeah, you it's about the planning.
Yeah, it's really about the planning.
Yeah, I do agree. That's cool. I love that. And it's good to reflect. Yes. You know, it's good to reflect. That's why I want to do this too, because a reflection is always good to kind of go back and, you know, I'm like me hearing like all the stuff that I did, even when my mom was telling me a lot of stuff, like some stuff I do remember, but a lot of stuff I didn't. But just to hear like, wow, you know, so it kind of let me know I am that girl, you know. I was kind of proud. And she said, you should be very proud of yourself. You did a lot. And even like when I worked at True, like I worked at True and I worked at Macy's, but those two jobs developed my art and my fashion and all that stuff, and understanding fashion in a different way, merchandising, dealing with customers, customer service, how to treat people, how to work with people, how to dress them, body types. And I got to develop that side of me, and also understanding retail. You know, sometimes when you want to have a store, how would you know how to create a store if you never worked in one? You know, so I got to be in fashion in all shapes and forms, and it developed me into the person I am today. And working with different celebrities, I know how to deal with celebrities. I know how to deal with, you know, mean ones. I know how to deal with, you know, ones that's sweet and nice and need certain things. So, you know, because I was a personal shopper at True, so I work with like the Brad, Nina Sky, Eva from America's Top Model, a lot of rappers and stuff. I would shop, get stuff for their girlfriends or kids, because we had kids clothes. So I did a lot like with my career, and I'm very, very proud of myself. So
as you should be,
you know, I am praying to make more memories, and I am working very hard to bring another world to everybody. So.
Well, I'm gonna let you know. I'm like seeing little snippets of like your videos. I'm excited for the documentary. Like, I really hope you like put it on a big screen.
Yeah, I am. That's the plan. That is the plan. It is getting expensive, but
y'all better come out and support and pay your tickets. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but and it's not only about me. It's about other people and their stories and stuff. It's just tying us together, saying, you know, you could be sitting next to somebody, and if you ask them, you know, how you doing, and then go into their story, they're probably a little bit more like you just don't know them, you know. So that's what we're putting into that documentary is, you know, like we're all alike, you know, we have different stories, but that's something in that story is similar to yours. If they lost their parents, like we both lost our parents, you know. And having that conversation of what did you do to get through this? You know, that might can help you in your world. And that's what it's about, you know? So healing through people.
Dude, I mean, I'm not BSing. Like, I'm excited to watch it. Like, I'm excited for the release. You let me know, I'll buy the first ticket, because like I'm ready. Because like all right, so me geeking out, there's a reason. Like I love art. I appreciate like the art of the video and like what they put together. Like I'm just like all for it. I love the structure. I love how they just put the piece together. You know what I mean? It's just I'm a video snob. So like when I see people doing goofy ass dances, like I'm just like,
Yeah.
But when I see like an art piece where like I know like, you know, they took the time, you know, with the audio, they took their time with framing up the shot. There's a frame within the frame. You know, they color graded it this way. Like I nerd out and geek out on that.
Yeah.
It's to the point where like my daughter hates watching movies with me now because I'm like, oh look, did you see how they?
Yeah.
She's like, Dad, I just want to watch the movie. And I was like, oh, that's nice because when you were a kid, you know, you and your grandma used to bug the shit out of me watching movies.
I love movies. I'm such a movie buff.
But they were the movie talkers. Now I'm the movie talker.
Yeah. So. I love movies though. It's so crazy because when I was younger, people were like, how did you know about this movie? I'm like, you haven't seen it? My mom used to let me watch everything. Like, not bad stuff, but you know, and it was just good because it was developing my production and film background. So, you know, so the documentary, you know, it's work, but it's kind of easy because it's the vision, but then you kind of know the steps a little bit because you've been in the world so long. And then letting Marco, you know, and I picked him for a reason.
Like he's brilliant.
He's brilliant. So I picked him and I also let him, you know, I tell him we work together. It's definitely a collaboration, but you allowing people to be their artists. You get more out of it because a lot of times people try to, because as an artist, you know, you try to control people's art, but you can't. That's what's so amazing about being around other artists because they have their own mind, their own visions, and allowing them to be that artist, you would get the best art. So that's one thing I very much so back up. If I don't like a frame or something, I'll say something, but other than like the look and all that stuff, then I do say things because he has a vision. He also, I was talking to him the other day, he also is doing stuff for the documentary, and I didn't really trip off it until I watched something over, and I'm like, I think he like literally like giving you snippets to, you know, to save it for the documentary. So I was like, wow, that's crazy. I didn't even trip off that because I watched this video over and over and over to get, you know, the actual delivery from the film. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited. A lot of stuff that I wrote in a book, that's why I write everything down. I accomplished all this year, and I'm excited. And even the podcast has been 2 years in the making, you know, so it takes time. Sometimes you can get into situations where it happens, but I've been working on this for 2 years. You know, Fits and Fast start coming alive, but I've been wanting to do a podcast since my car accident, but you know, actually like I don't want to do a podcast. And then I got linked up with Shay, and then that was a year ago, and we started doing Fits and Facts on our iPhone.
Yeah.
That's why I just do it. Don't do it scared. Do it not prepared. Do it. It will come to fruition because you wrote it down on that paper.
No, for real. And your audience will grow with you.
Yeah.
Like I started with a stack of books and an iPhone. Just doing my cooking channel. Angles were bad. Lighting was terrible. But like it's that burning sensation inside you. Like I just need to do this. You know, that separates the people that are actually doers to the ones that aren't doers.
Yeah. So. You know, you just got to do it. And even I was telling Marco, I was like, we're going to pause on some stuff and I'm going to start doing my own content videos to not always rely on him to kind of pull out my creativity. The way I'm going to be able to do it is learn knowledge, ask questions, be a student, plan. That's it. I have to be the person to be able to go for it. I can't, I don't know how to do this. I'm going to have to spend time with it. I'm going to have to reintroduce myself to these different buttons and all this stuff, but I can do it. It's something that I've always been into. So, you know, and I'm forcing myself back into that. So I could do a couple of videos that's different and quick and fast and all that stuff. So I can learn how to do. Because I'll be like, Marco, I need you. And it'd be like something simple. So then we would have to add more on to it to not just be wasting time. So, yeah, just go for it.
Go for it. Just
it helps you out. Just go for it. And don't care about what people think. They're going to always have something to say.
People are always going to talk about you.
Always.
No matter what you do.
So, I had to just be like, whatever. Do you have anything else?
No, I mean, I feel fulfilled right now.
Okay.
Like I feel like I got a lot out of you.
Yay.
And like I know you a lot better. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
So I'm just grateful and excited that you actually offered me to be on your podcast.
I was like, it was, well, you made sense because I felt like I got to know you in a different way. I do know Cam, but I don't see Cam like that. Yeah. So I figured it would be better because we talk about everything. We didn't have so many meetings and stuff. And I was like, it makes sense. And then I was talking to both of you guys about like just me working at True and, all those different things that, and I'm definitely going to make that an episode.
Yeah.
But that's why I just kind of just grazed on it. I didn't keep going. But, yeah, I want to share. That's why it's a film on East World. I want to share my world. I want to keep it subtle. It don't need to be too much because it's just to let you know what I've been through and more of the message than anything. So you get to know me in a message, and yeah. And I'm so excited. And y'all have to subscribe below. Y'all have to like. Please comment. Please follow Percy. We're going to put his information in the description. And I'm so excited for you guys to see this episode. And yeah.
And in the meantime, in between time, holla at your boy and girl. Peace.